Hey everybody, I'm Hugh Brownstone for Three Blind Men and an Elephant, and today I want to give you a quick take, relatively quick take? Probably not, on GVM's new LED panel 3-light kit, which I can sum up this way. At $480 for 3 LED panels, 3 AC adapters, and 3 light stands in a nice custom case, with improving build quality and industrial design over the last GVM kit I tested, this GVM light kit is an attractive value to those of us new to lighting looking for a flexible way to light individuals, small food plates, and or products. Smaller products. It's what I'm using right now. The key light, for those of you not familiar with 3-point lighting, is the primary and most powerfully set fixture illuminating the more prominent side of my face. The fill light, just out of frame, is the secondary, less powerfully set fixture used to reduce harsh shadows on this side of my face, and the backlight is the tertiary and lowest power set fixture used most often to create further separation between the subject and the background. Although, by the way, this is not my preferred style of lighting. What is nice is that the GVM kit consists of 3 of the exact same lights, the 1000D, each dimmable separately to taste and color set to taste. In this setup, the key is about 100%, the fill is less than 50%, and the backlight is about 10%. The flip side is that at this price, compromise is the order of the day, and those compromises show up pretty much everywhere. Now, full disclosure, GVM sent me these lights for review, but if you know me at all, you know that, as always, the views expressed herein are absolutely my own. So let's get into it. First, what do we want from our lighting gear? Those of you who have been at this for a while already know the answer to that question, but at this price, I'm assuming you're new to the game. The answer is we want output and lots of it. My basic rule is that we can never have too much light. Powerful and accurate are always top of list. You want to light more than one person? More power. Want to light an area significantly bigger than a tabletop? More power. Want to use a softbox, a scrim? More power. Heck, you want to light a single person with a soft, beautiful, enveloping light? More power. Flexibility comes next, from the ability to mount a wide variety of light shaping tools like soft boxes, scrims, umbrellas on the one hand, snoots, Fresnels on the other, things that can change the character of the light from soft and flattering to hard and unforgiving, or that can change coverage from a wide flood to a spot to something very shaped, to the more esoteric but increasingly de rigueur variable color temperature, RGB, and special effects. Almost as important as flexibility, in my book anyway, is cool and silent running with low power draw. Neither you nor I want to melt on-screen talent. We don't want to blow a circuit breaker either. And we don't want to spend time in post cleaning up fan noise. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Especially if we are a 1 or 2 man band, we want our lighting to be small and lightweight, easy to set up, take down, and transport.
Turn off my phone. Turn off my phone.
Small size, however, does not mean we want to compromise on convenience or reliability. We want yokes and barn doors that work in concert so that one doesn't get in the way of the other. We want remote control across multiple lights so that we can tune quickly from behind the camera, each fixture capable of being set individually. We want to be able to see the controls in the dark. And we want to be sure that if we spend the time and money to acquire and master a new skill and a new set of kit, if we're going to develop muscle memory for it, we want to know that a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, our lights will work as well as they did the day we unpacked them. You might say that much of this can be reduced to build quality and industrial design. And I'd agree with you. But of course, there's also the comfort of a track record.
Nice, huh? The guy who sold it to me said it was a lemon. I'm telling you, it may look like a cow, but she runs like a stallion.
Finally, we all want value, however one chooses to define it. Enter LED lighting. What's great about LEDs, the reason they've replaced hot lights for so many of us, is that, generally speaking, they do run cool. Which doesn't mean that they won't get warm or even hot to the touch. But it does mean even a foot or two away, they'll never bake the on-screen talent the way Fresnel's in my Arri SoftBank 4 kit used to do. Might have had something to do with the fact that I didn't understand lighting nearly that well then. They don't draw much power, which means odds are you won't need auxiliary generators or worry about blowing fuses when you shoot on location with decrepit electrical systems. In fact, many LEDs can be battery powered for hassle-free lighting indoor or out up to a point, hold that thought. LEDs are, for the most part, color accurate whether you're quoting CRI or TLCI scores, which is more than one could have said in the early days of LEDs, but things have changed. By and large, magenta and green casts are a thing of the past. LEDs are dimmable, right down to 1%. Many LED fixtures can adjust color temperature from tungsten to daylight, allowing one to match them to ambient lighting as the situation may require without the need to futz with gels. A number of the newest LED fixtures now offer RGB and special effects, which we used together last year, for example, to simulate a police chase. Some LED fixtures, specifically monolights, can be used with a wide variety of modifiers, often relying on the well-known standard Bowens S-mount. And some LEDs are very powerful and or can offer a very wide beam angle. What's great about LED panels in particular is that they are relatively compact and lightweight, often with wide beam angles, making them good for tight spaces and easier to transport. And they are usually, in my experience, dead silent. This is because they're fanless, designed instead to dissipate heat through integrated heat sinks pretty much the size of their back covers. What's less great about LED panels, generally speaking, is that they don't offer nearly the light shaping options of monolights. The best LED panels aren't nearly as powerful as the best LED monolights, and unless you can diffuse them properly, hold this thought, you run the risk of what I'll call micro shadows and micro catch lights, the result of each one of those individual LEDs remaining visibly distinct from every other. Which explains much of the appeal and the limitations of this GVM kit. First, 3 LED panels for under $500 is crazy inexpensive. Aperture's Lightstorm LS1C bicolor LED 2-panel kit with V-mount battery plate sells for $1,700, and that is a bargain compared to the $1,000 price tag of a single Light Panels Astra 6X bicolor LED panel. With not 1 or 2 but 3 fixtures, you can have the classic 3-point lighting setup of key, fill, and backlight available to you again, as you see here, though every bit as useful for, as I said earlier, product or food photography. And for those times when you want to go simpler, say a Zoom call, a single fixture, in theory, can do nicely. Hold that thought. It all comes in a very compact, nicely built metal enclosure, and with a high 97 CRI score, it is an especially attractive proposition for budget-conscious YouTubers and others insisting on accurate lighting operating in tight spaces. Like most LED panels, GVM's 1000D dissipates heat without a fan, another very attractive feature, and it's nice to see that GVM has upgraded the dials and LCD panel on this model. Both are larger than on the last GVM I tested, making them easier to see and manipulate. I'll include a link to that review down in the video description below. It is also the case that the GVM 1000D's RGB capability will be appreciated by those of us looking to use color, not just color temperature, as an additional arrow in their creative quivers, and with two Sony NP-style battery mounts on the back, lighting without access to an outlet is a real option as well. But, as I said at the beginning, GVM's lighting is all about trade-offs, and while they are known, rightly so, and appreciated for value, these LED panels come at the expense of, first, brightness and flexibility, outputting 5,000 lux at 1 meter with the included diffuser removed, and with an effective surface area of roughly 6.5 by 9.5 with the barn doors in place, the 1000D is smaller and dimmer than I'd like. This means whether it's one, two, or all three of them used at the same time, they are really only useful if one positions them very close to the subject or object they are lighting. Unless, I guess, you decide to put all three of them behind a single scrim. They don't have sufficient power to light larger areas or multiple people, nor do they have the power to overcome the light loss incurred when properly diffused with soft boxes, umbrellas, or scrims. Want to overpower the sun outdoors? Forget about it. Light shaping tools. As I also said earlier, panels in general simply do not have nearly the same number and variety of modifiers as do monolights. And limited diffusion, even with the included diffusion panels with the 1000D, is not the only problem. So is shaping and concentrating the light. Industrial design. The yoke is sturdy enough, but like many LED panels, the yoke in combination with the barn doors is not designed to allow significant downward tilt. How does that happen? It is also the case that the barn doors are not designed in such a way that the beam can be narrowed horizontally and vertically. We're pretty much limited to using the lights as they arrive in the custom case, offset from the floor at close to 90 degrees. Another issue is that the AC plug does not lock. It's a friction fit only, meaning it's relatively easy for the light to suddenly lose power if one isn't careful to secure the cable and power block properly. Then again, you're less likely to take down the whole lighting stand if you trip over the wire. The last compromise I want to address is GVM's LED2 smartphone app. It exists, but it is simply not nearly ready for prime time. For the life of me, I was not able to figure out how to control three lights, not even turning them on and off individually, let alone changing the brightness levels individually, or the color temperature, or the red, green, blue options, as would be required in a truly usable three-light setup. A core competence in software is necessary for any company playing in the imaging space today. Let me wrap things up this way. The lighting industry has been revolutionized over the past half decade or so with the arrival of LED lighting. In that time, an early leader, relatively speaking, like light panels, has suffered reversals, while an upstart like Aperture has matured into what I'd call the go-to brand for YouTubers and other one-man bands. It is a company which has successfully threaded the needle of value, power, accuracy, light shaping, and reliability. GVM is a new company, which strikes me as having the ambition to be the next Aperture. And this is a good thing. They lower the entry point for those of us looking to up our lighting game, and companies like GVM increase competitive pressure on companies like Aperture. In fact, Aperture has responded very recently with their Amaron series of monolights, starting as low as $200 a pop. But that's still $600 before stands and light modifiers for three of them, and Aperture's Light Dome Mini 2 is $130. Three of those plus light stands will be twice the price of the GVM kit. But it is actually Aperture's $350 bicolor and, as it turns out, much brighter Amaron 200X, which is the closer competitor to the GVM. Now we're talking about $950 for three of them. And again, that's before ponying up for Aperture's larger and quite beautifully diffused $230 Light Dome softbox, which adds another $700 to the bill, plus three stands again. In other words, We're talking about 4 times the price, which has neither the compact form factor nor a fanless cooling system. That is, it's noisier than the GVM, and this is Aputure's economy line. But for that, you do get much more power, much more flexibility for shaping the light, and a company with a proven track record. These are, in fact, 2 very different choices. If you are budget constrained and need the flexibility of 3 lights, this GVM kit should be on your list to check out. Just leave budget for diffusion. If you can, however, my advice would be to master the use of 1 single color temperature non-RGB light first, with at least 1 good modifier. I'd start with a softbox from Aputure or Angler. Add additional modifiers. Maybe you start with just a reflector. It's amazing what you can do with 1, say, as a filter. And grow your lighting kit as your skill and business build to the point where you need and can afford more. But hey, that's just me. If you like what you've seen here today, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, join the conversation below. Support our work using our no-cost-to-you affiliate links, buying Streets of New York the book, shopping our merchandise store, dropping us coffee money via PayPal, or most especially, consider becoming a patron of ours via Patreon. Links for all down below. However you support us, as always, we thank you for it.